day one of Vlogmas. So I was just feeling left out, so I decided to do Vlogmas. It might be crazy just with how I've been feeling this year. I don't know if I'm going to be successful, but it's not like I get demerits if I don't if I don't succeed in Vlogmas. I have attempted 2 other times and succeeded once. We'll see how it goes. And today, on the first day of Vlogmas, I am going to be giving you my December TBR, which includes my Cloak and Dagger reads, my Christmassy reads, and my 12 Days of Cosmas reads. So 12 Days of Cosmas is a really fun readathon that happens the 1st through the 12th of December, and I found out about from Lindsay at Driftless Reader. So I will, of course, link all the hosts' information down below. And so it just married up really well with my Cloak and Dagger reads. And I just thought it was fun to participate in another readathon. And they have their own Instagram too, which will be very fun to follow. So firstly, I will do all of the Christmassy reads I am hoping to get to. And I realized I did not address behind me. I could not narrow down my Christmassy reads and my mysteries for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. So I have put all the titles on an envelope, and I figured once I finish one book, I could just draw another one to help me decide, because there's no way I'm getting to all of these. And I was getting kind of like, well, maybe I picked too many, but I really liked Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures said, it's not like someone is holding a gun up to your head. It's like you have to finish all of the books on your TBR. So it's just going to make it fun and festive, having lots of really choices that I'm really excited for this month. And it's going to be okay. And ones that I didn't get to, I can either get to in January or just save them for next year's Christmas. So I have a monumental stack next to me, so I will get right into the books. The first is Enid Blyton's Christmas Stories. This is one that I read a couple stories from last year, but this year I'm going to try to continue on with it and read them. I think Peter is actually ready for these. These are little children's short stories with a couple illustrations in each one. So I think it could be fun. If he doesn't like it, I'll just read it on my own, but I'll try out a story or two on him and see what he thinks of it. Next is a book that I want to read every single Christmas, and that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And the illustrations are done by Everett Shin, and I really liked this copy. I found it in a used bookstore and was very excited. And I am also going to be participating in Dickens December, which is hosted by Jess at Dickens and Docs, and then I can't remember the other host names. I feel so embarrassed, but I will, of course, put their names down below so you can see that. And they're going to do discussions. They've already put up a video on Victorian Christmas, so they're just really expanding it and making it even more fun. And I can't wait to revisit this again. I think I'm going to do it in audiobook format because I just think it's especially conducive to audiobooks. Next is a book that I think I can maybe read a little bit from each day, and that is A Literary Christmas, an anthology. This is put out by the British Library, and there's all sorts of excerpts from novels and Christmassy scenes or poems or short stories that I just think will be really fun, and there's illustrations throughout. I will try to find one for you. Yeah, I really like this. So there's lots of nice little sections for it. It's just a really visually appealing book. Before Christmas, The Nativity, Christmas Day, Christmas Fair, Christmas at War, A Child's Christmas, and then I think I will save for after Seasonal Snow and Ice and New Year. So I like that there are sections past Christmas, because a lot of times I get so excited about Christmas reading and then just feel really sad once it's all done. And I think one of the stories in here is a P.G. Wodehouse one about Christmas on a diet. So I think that sounds very amusing. Next, a book that I keep meaning to get to every Christmas is Mandy by Julie Edwards. And this is just about a little orphan girl who discovers an abandoned cottage over the wall next to her orphanage. And it ends on Christmas Day. I read it as a child and I loved it. It's so short. It's not even 200 pages. It really would not be hard to read this, and I really do want to get to it. Then I have 2 Penguin Christmas classics. I love how these books look. The first is Christmas at Thompson Hall by Anthony Trollope. And I've heard that Christmas at Thompson Hall is just a very funny story. So I definitely want to get to this. And then the other one is A Merry Christmas and Other Stories, which I started last year, but I was reading like 4 sentimental Christmas books at once, and it was just too much. So hopefully my ratio will be better this year and I will enjoy it this time. Next is a little bind up I found out about from Miranda at Miranda's Bookcase on Instagram. She also hosts the Tea and Tattle podcast, and it is just called Winter, a book for the season. This has lots of beautiful little illustrations and pictures. It's divided up, I think, into 3 sections. The old year, Christmas, sacred and secular, and the new year. So I think all of the new year section I actually will save for the new year. So I have lots of, cozy reading to look forward to in the following months. But there's poems and short stories and hymns and Christmas carols. And also one thing that I think sounds really neat is there's a story about a really crazy snowstorm London had during the Victorian era, I think it was. So lots of variety in this one, and I am looking forward to it. Next on the list is an Elizabeth Goudge book, which unfortunately the last one that I read 2 Christmases ago, or maybe it was only one, but it was The Dean's Watch. And unfortunately I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't feel connected to the characters. So I'm hoping to like A City of Bells. I know Emma at Bookish Princess really likes this, and Sophie from the Tea and Tattle podcast really also likes this. It's got a bookshop in it, and there are some Christmassy scenes. So I think it's definitely got some elements for me to like. Hopefully I'll feel more of a connection to the characters in this one. Moving on to the mysteries for the Cloak and Dagger prompts, and then the 12 Days of Cosmas. I think I have everything organized. So 2 prompts for Cloak and Dagger Christmas were summer and winter and home and traveling. And I thought after seeing Kate from the novel Nomads TBR, and I had only thought about the home prompt as in you see the sleuth at home, but she thought about it as set in your homeland, and I hadn't thought about it that way. So I grew up in Mississippi, and I will be combining both summer and home, because I think most people, when they think of Mississippi, think of the summertime. So the first one though is the South. So this is Louisiana, and I will be buddy reading this with Stephanie from That's What She Read, and it is The Missing by Tim Gatreaux. And this, I don't know much about the plot. I think someone goes missing, and it's just after World War I. It starts out in New Orleans, and then this main character ends up on a Louisiana steamboat. So I just thought that setting sounded so different from anything I read. And I have not been reading, as far as mysteries go, any Southern Gothic mysteries. And so I definitely want to try that out more because it's just such an iconic type of setting. So I'm hoping to enjoy this with Stephanie. Then I got the audiobook of Crooked Letter, and this one is set in Mississippi, and I'm really hoping to enjoy it. Like I said, Southern Gothic is something I'd like to investigate more. I've heard really good things about this. My friends all gave it on Goodreads, gave it good reviews, a lot of 4- or 5-star reviews. So I think this one, someone goes missing and the wrong person is accused, and there's just a big kind of quest to find out who is the guilty party. So I really like that. I have some audiobooks to listen to. For the winter prompt, the first that I'm really looking forward to is Mystery in White. This is a British Library crime classic that is a Christmas one, and all of these passengers are traveling on a train on Christmas Eve. The train ends up stopping because of snow that's piled up and it can't get through. So they all get off the train and go into this little village and stay in this manor house. Where it says that, or a deserted country house where the fire has been lit and the table laid for tea, but no one is home. So yeah, snow, trains, Christmas, sign me up. And it's a little over 200 pages. Next is Winterhouse by Ben Guterson, and I just love the cover of this. And I was so pleased when I picked it up at the library to see that there are little illustrations throughout. So that will be a nice treat as I continue going on in this. But this is a middle grade mystery, and it's at the Winterhouse Hotel. And it has many charms and a massive library. And there's a magical book of puzzles that will unlock a mystery involving Norbridge. and his sinister family. So this has all the elements of something I could really enjoy. I just love a hotel in winter, and there are illustrations throughout, so I think I will really like this. In a very similar vein, another middle grade mystery is Green Glass House by Kate Milford. And this one is, I think, another hotel in the wintertime. So it'll be interesting to kind of compare and contrast them. And hopefully they aren't too similar and I can enjoy both of them. And I will be doing the ebook of that. And yeah, just the cover alone. And there's a sequel to that one, and I think a sequel to Winterhouse. So hopefully between them, I'll have some more books to get to. The travel prompt for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. The first is Frenchman's Creek by Daphne du Maurier. The last Daphne du Maurier that I tried and failed bitterly at was Jamaica Inn, and I really did not like that book. Did not like it. I could not bring myself to finish it. So it's taken me a while to work up the courage to try another Daphne du Maurier, but Ange from Beyond the Pages has been doing like Project Daphne, and so each month she reads at least one Daphne du Maurier, and so the one that she's hosting in her Daphne du Maurier group for December is Frenchman's Creek. I'm pretty much going in blind to this. I know it involves pirates, and I will be reading this with Bree from Bree Hill. It's a reread for her, but she loved it so much, so I'm really excited about it. And I do like it's a shorter one. It is 250 pages, so hopefully having a fair amount of short books this month with variety will help me to get through a fair amount and make some progress. Next for the travel prompt is another buddy read with Bree Hill and another Susanna Kearsley. This one is set in Italy, and so I thought that sounded nice and different from the usual like British mysteries that I read. I don't really know much else about it than that, but I just need to know that it's Susanna Kearsley, and that's all I need to know for this one. And then lastly for the travel prompt is The Phantom Tree by Nicola Cornick. This comes recommended by Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures, and she says that this feels like a Susanna Kearsley, and this seems like it's going to be medieval. Yes, 1557. So finding out the mystery of this woman named Catherine who went missing, and she had a child, Mary Seymour, the daughter of Catherine Parr. So she went presumed dead and went missing as a child. Sorry, I've been filming a while. But yes, I'm very interested, and I think it's nice from the typical, a nice variety from the typical whodunits that I'll be reading for this month. The next prompt is old and new. So with the old ones, I'm just doing the interpretation of older mysteries. And this first one was written in 1925, and it is The House with a Key by Earl Derr. And this is one that I found this summer and I've been meaning to get to. It's the first in the Charlie Chan mysteries and is set in Hawaii. So it being set in Hawaii and having a minority character as the sleuth makes me very intrigued. Then next up is with the Mary Stewart ladies, and we are ending the year and our project. A couple ladies have a couple more books left, but most of the project is done, and that is 9 Coaches Waiting. So this will be a reread for me, but it stars Linda, who is a governess and goes to this place in France, lying to them that she didn't speak French. And then she starts hearing really disturbing things that are going to be taking place. And she has to kind of figure out how to stop these really terrible things from happening. It's so pacey. I read it in 3 days the first time, and I cannot wait to reread it. For the new prompt, I will be doing a couple of newer series. Although I don't know exactly how new, but a new to me series. This one was published in 2008, but it's the first in the Josephine Tey detective series where the mystery author Josephine Tey stars as the sleuth. This is a series by Nicola Upson. The first is called An Expert in Murder. It involves a train, and that's pretty much all I know, and I'm fine going in blind. This is a series I've been wanting to get to for so long after one of you lovely subscribers recommended it. So here I am trying to get to it. Next on the new is definitely a newer series, and that's the Veronica Speedwell Mysteries, A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. This is the second in the series. I'm tired of holding this book up and saying I'm going to read it. So it's top priority, and I know it involves a secret society, which I think is very fun. So, and it's Victorian era. And lastly, for new, my hold of Waistcoats and Weaponry by Gail Carriger just came in, and this is just a really fun steampunk series. There's always somewhat of a mystery in it, so that's why I'm counting it for Cloak and Dagger Christmas, but it also just has tons of action and maybe it's more suspense, but I really, really enjoy that series. It's just some good old-fashioned fun. So then the last prompt or set of prompts is sugar and spice. So of course I have a fair number of books falling under the sugar category, and the first I cannot wait to get to, and that is the 12 Clues of Christmas. So I will be starting this on the day that this video goes up. Kate from the Novel Nomad and myself will be buddy reading this. We've been having the most fun reading through the last couple ones so we could have so we could be caught up for the 12 Clues of Christmas. I don't really know much about this one because I didn't want to read ahead on the synopsis since I still haven't quite finished Naughty and Niece. I just have a couple chapters left, but I adore the Her Royal Spyness series about Georgie, who's trying to find a way to mingle in society but have enough income to do so. It's just such a fun, cozy mystery series, and I can't wait to have a Christmas one to read. A book that I will definitely not be finishing, but that is The Big Book of Christmas Mysteries. This is put together by Otto Penzler, who owns the Mysterious Bookshop in Manhattan that I did get to visit a couple years ago, which was very fun, but just has a whole slew and variety of authors. I am also counting this for the prompt from 12 Days of Cosmas of a book with baking in it, because I am currently reading The Adventure of the Christmas Pudding by Agatha Christie and loving every second of it. I'm really looking forward to sinking my teeth into a lot of mystery short stories because I think they are just so, it's such a conducive format for them. What else did I want to say? Oh, I will be reading at least, I think it's 12 stories out of this with Carolyn from Carolyn's Reading Rambles. We'll be reading one every other day. So if I'm just really feeling the urge, I'll read some additional ones, but I know I'll be reading at least 12, but I don't feel, you know, a huge need to just go ahead and get through every last story in this because this thing is huge. But what I do love is it's very floppy. So while I'm eating breakfast or other meals, but usually breakfast, you know, I'm sort of on my own and have, you know, maybe a little bit of reading time if we're not going somewhere in a day. Next for sugar is Murder is Bad Manners by Robin Stevens. So the UK title, I think, is Murder Most Unladylike. I'm pretty sure. Anyhow, this is set in a boarding school, and it's the first in the Wells and Wong mystery series. There is so much love for this series on BookTube, and it has really influenced me and made me want to read it. I just love the boarding school element, so I'm really looking forward to this. And eventually there is a mystery, there is a Christmas one in the series. So I think that's definitely one, if I enjoy the series, I'll want to save for Christmas in the future. And then lastly for the sugar category, and probably the silliest cozy I have on here, and that is the Curse the Day by Annabelle Chase. And this is a paranormal cozy mystery where our main character ends up stumbling into the town of Spellbound, where there are werewolves and vampires, I think, who have been banished to the community. It just sounded so silly, I could not try it. So I will be reading that in ebook format because that's the only way I could access these, but through Hoopla, which is nice. So I'm just really looking forward to the silliness to kind of balance out some of my more serious ones. So that carries me into the spice prompt. And the first that I have for that is The Silent World of Nicholas Quinn by Colin Dexter. This is the third in the Inspector Morse series, and it takes place where there is a deaf appointed member of the Oxford Examinations Syndicate, and he is poisoned. So Chief Inspector Morris has, you know, a big case on his hands. I really like the first two that I read. It has really biting and sharp dialogue in it. It's a really wonderful police procedural series that I'm looking forward to carrying on with. Next for the spice category is A Great Reckoning by Louise Penny. If the stars align, my audiobook will have come in on hold for that. And it's a really interesting series that does kind of, it has an extremely cozy setting, but the way the plots unfold, the murders and everything doesn't feel that cozy. So it's a really interesting and unique series, and I love it so much. It did have a little bit of a dip for a couple of books, but I'm back to loving it and looking forward to getting to the next in the series. Don't really know anything about this plot, and I'm okay with that because I know I'm interested in the series. One that I'm not sure if I'll finish it in the month, like over the course of the month, and I'm very okay with that because I want to savor it. And that is the next in the Inspector Lynley series by Elizabeth George, Missing Joseph. We were left hanging with a lot of personal details in the last one, and I can't wait to find out, especially because the two characters it concerned were Deborah and Simon, and they are on a holiday in the winter landscape of Lancashire. Lancashire. So it's in winter time, and I just love this series so much. Such a wonderful literary series, and I'm so attached to these characters. Lastly, for the spice category is The Ruin by Dervla McTiernan. I don't know much about this except Kate from the novel Nomad recommended it. Dervla McTiernan was born in Ireland and now lives in Australia, but the series is set in Ireland, yes. So I think it's a more hard-boiled, kind of police procedural, maybe bordering on forensics, but it sounds like a really gritty and gripping plot. I'll be trying this via ebook. So I have lots of different formats this month that I think will help me to get through more. But yes, that is one that I'm looking forward to. Then a 12 Days of Cosmas prompt was read a book with an outcast, and then another prompt was a book that features a diverse character. And one that covers both of those is Free Man of Color by Barbara Hambly. This is a series that really piqued my interest a couple years ago, but I hadn't got around to trying it. It's set in New Orleans in 1833. And as Mardi Gras draws near, carnival fever mounts in the muddy streets and glittering ballrooms of old New Orleans. So Benjamin January is the sleuth in this, and I don't really know much about it other than that. I don't want to just sit there and like read the synopsis, but that's kind of all I needed to know. I don't really read anything set in New Orleans, and it's a city that I'm really fascinated by. I did visit there a fair number of times when I did live down south, and it's just such a cool location, I think, for a mystery. So definitely looking forward to this one. And lastly, for the 12 Days of Cosmas, a prompt is to read the first book in a series, and I will hopefully be getting to The Secrets of Wishtide by Kate Saunders. This is about a rector's widow in the Victorian era, and that's all I needed to know. I think there may have been a second one that's supposed to come out for a while and it hasn't, but I'm fine if it ends up being a standalone mystery. So those are all of the books that I'm hoping to get to, but I think my Advent system will hopefully make it not overwhelming. If you've stuck with me this long through this video, thank you very much. If you have any Vlogmas requests, please leave them down below, and I will see you guys for another Vlogmas video tomorrow.